You can hear me, right? You can hear me, right? Okay, okay. So we'll be beginning with the physics chapter, like that motion thing and the measurement. Okay, we'll actually practice. Very good, very good. You will be sending, and I also have some questions for you. We will actually solve that thing today. Okay, let me just grab those questions first. Okay, now you can see my screen, right? You can see the screen, right?
The page number is?
No, I will be showing some questions on the screen itself. You can see the screen, right?
Okay, I will write them.
You can write them also, or you can just go through the questions. No need to write. Just you can also do one thing. You can screenshot them. Okay, so you can do that thing later. So my voice is not breaking, right?
No.
Okay, okay. So the very first question we should be starting that first of all the chapter that we should be covering that motion and the measurement of this that physics chapter. Okay. So the very first question for you, uh, let's begin with this one. Give two examples of each of modes of transport used on land, water, and air.
I will say the answer.
Yes.
On land we use bicycle and
Okay.
car.
Okay. And on air
On air, plane and helicopter.
and on water.
Boat and ship.
Okay. Very good. So let's check the answer. Okay. In the land you will be you can use bus, truck, train. Very good. In water you can use ship and boat, and in air you can use aeroplane and the helicopter. So can you tell me what is the difference between the helicopter and the aeroplane?
Helicopter has a fan-like structure on the head, and aeroplane does not have it.
And now the main difference is the helicopter can do the vertical landing, and for the plane they need a very long runway so that they can actually move and take off. Right?
Okay.
Okay, that is the main difference between the aeroplane and the helicopter. And also for aeroplane, you can actually transport huge amount of people at one go. But in the helicopter, you cannot actually do that thing. The number of seats in the helicopter that is also very limited, right? So that is also another difference you can say. Okay, so let's look at the next question. Okay, now there are some fill in the blanks. Let's try them. So first one is 1 meter is you can convert it to any unit like millimeter you can also convert or in centimeter you convert 1 meter into centimeter. How many centimeter? 1 meter means
1,000 centimeter.
okay, very good. 5 kilometer means
Meter.
yes, meter.
5 kilometer means
1 kilometer means how much meter?
1 kilometer means I have only done low to bottom.
You can that the same thing is for the kilometer also. 1 kilometer means how many meter? Like 1,000 meter.
Okay.
Like kilo, hecto, deca, meter, deci, centimilli, that chart you know.
Yes.
Yes. So from one step to the next step is 10 times. Like if you are going to the top, you have to divide by 10. From say for example from meter you are going to the kilometer, you have to divide the number. For each step, multiplication of 10 should be there. And if you are coming from the top to the bottom, you have to multiply, and for each step you will be multiplying with 10, right? Okay,
So 5,000 meter.
very good, very good, very good. 5,000 meter. If 1 kilometer is 1,000 meter, then 5 kilometer is 5 times of the 1,000 meter. That is the 5,000 meter. So the next question is motion of a child on a swing is which kind of motion?
Means I did not understand the question.
A child is moving on a swing. So what kind of motion is that? Is it a linear motion or is it something some other thing?
I do not know.
That motion, what do we call? The swinging motion? Okay,
Except this.
we'll check that thing in the answer. Okay. Let's talk about the next one. Motion of the needle of a swing machine. You know what is swing machine?
Yes.
And now the needle goes like that.
Hmm.
The motion should be like what?
Up to bottom means
It is a linear motion, right?
okay.
And motion of a bicycle wheel. The wheel goes, it spins like. So
Yes.
it is a which kind of motion?
A circle is a that one that is also linear motion.
No, how it can be linear motion? It is actually moving, right? It is rotating. Linear motion means any motion that actually occurs through a line. That line could be from A to B, also from B to A, or maybe it is A to B and B to A continuously doing that, right? And it is actually circling. So don't worry, let's look at the answers. The first answers was 100. The question you remember, right? The 1 meter is how many, like, that is 100. 5,000, it was also right. 5 kilometers equal to how many meters? And the third question was what? Motion of a child on a swing. It is what? It is a periodic motion or oscillatory motion. Oscillation, oscillation means that kind of movement. Even the
Okay.
pendulum of a clock that also oscillates, right? So a child on a swing and the pendulum of a clock, it is kind of same thing. So it is a
Yes.
what? It is a periodic motion or a oscillatory motion because it is happening in a regular period. There is a regular interval between that motion. Okay, you understood? And okay, and next question was what? Next question was motion of a needle. That is what? That is also a periodic circular. Well, let's check that thing. Motion of a needle of a swing machine. It is given periodic oscillatory motion. Okay. No, that thing is actually wrong. Okay. And that question, the last question, motion of a wheel of a bicycle, it's a circular motion. Okay. It is a circular motion because that side, no, that it is actually spinning in a circle, right?
Okay.
Let's look at a new question. Okay. Read the question.
Why can a piece of a footstep not be used as a standard unit of length?
You understood the question?
What is the meaning of pace?
Pace means the difference between the footstep. Like you are measuring a length by your foot, right? Now the standard unit you know right, the meter and the centimeter, these are the standard because why? When you are measuring something, everybody has to believe that thing. Everybody has to come into conclusion that that measurement is right. So the question is saying, why cannot you measure a distance by only your footstep?
Um,
Like, why don't we measure the distances by our footstep, but we actually use those units like meters and centimeters? What is the need for that?
means I did not understand.
Like, say, for example, you are measuring your room.
Hmm.
You can measure the room and say it is, 5 feet long. You can say like that. It is also a kind of measuring. It is a relative type of measuring, but because you are measuring your footstep and you are comparing the length with your footstep, right? But it is not a standard kind of measurement. Like whenever, say for example, you need to do some, say for example, some decoration work or something like in your home, right? For that thing to occur, you cannot say that your room is, 100 footstep long. You cannot say like that. You have to give the unit, give the measurement in meters or centimeters or things like that, units like that. So why not in footstep, but why we need to use those units?
makes some sense.
Also makes some sense, and the actual reason is that the footstep may be of different length. Like your footstep, your size of your foot is obviously different from my size of foot. Right now, you have measured your room and said like it is 20 footstep long. Right now, your 20 footstep long is obviously smaller than my 20 footstep long. Now, say for example, I am running a shop and you are ordering something. You are ordering a carpet for your room. Now you told me my room is 20 footstep long. Now I am trying to measure that thing with my own footstep. So we should remain the same conclusion, right? Our conclusion should be different. So that means
Yes.
what? It is not a standard unit, but like both of we, if we are different, we are in a different place where we don't know each other. We cannot actually came to the conclusion that that unit is that, right? Because everyone's footsteps they are of different length, right? So that's the answer. Like because a pace or a footstep of each and every person is not equal, right? Your footstep is of different size than me. So that for that reason we actually cannot use a particular unit. It cannot be used as standard unit.
It is like a face value and place value.
It is kind of like no, it is not like face value and place value, but it is a relative unit. Relative unit means you are actually comparing something with something. Now, whatever you are comparing with, if I don't know the actual value of that thing, I cannot actually make sense of what you are talking about, right? But if you are measuring something by a scale, your 1 centimeter in that scale is actually same as 1 centimeter in my scale also. So if you say our length is 5 centimeter long or 5 feet long or 5 meter long, whatever, then your 5 meter is actually the same 5 meter as my 5 meter, right? So we can came to the same conclusion because they are actually the standard unit of measurement. Okay, so let's look at our next question. Okay. Now, there are some units given. You have to arrange them in increasing magnitude, like from smaller to the larger number.
Okay. First will be millimeter,
Okay.
then centimeter, then meter, then kilometer.
Okay, that is actually very easy. Let's look at the answer. Millimeter, then the centimeter, then the meter, then the kilometer. And you know the this sign, this greater than sign, you
Yes.
know? Okay. Anything that is right to that sign, it is actually larger value. Anything that is to the pointer side, it's actually the smaller value. And that is true for greater than and less than both the signs. It is actually called the angle brackets. This you know that angle bracket. Okay, so that was very easy question. Let's look at the next question. Uh, okay, that is actually a math-like question.
The height of a person is 1.65 meter. Express it in centimeter and meter. Okay.
Centimeter and millimeter.
I have to do it.
Yes, do it. No problem. Take your time.
In centimeter, it will be 16.50.
550. Okay, and in millimeter.
16.500.
Okay, let's look at the answer. Uh, okay, as 1.65 1 meter equal to 100 semi, that means what? 165 centimeter. What your answer was in centimeter?
1650.
You got one extra zero. 1 meter equal to how many centimeter? 100 centimeter.
Yes.
Now multiply 1.65, that is actually given in the question with 100. The point will shift it to the two place in the right side.
Yes.
You will be getting what, 165, and for millimeter it is what, it is 1650. In the answer, that one is actually missing. Right? It should be not, it shouldn't be 65 into 100, rather it should be 165 into 100 into 10. You got it right, like 1650 you got millimeter.
Yes.
Okay, okay, very good, very good. Okay, let's look at the next question. Okay.
The distance between Radha's home and the school is 3250 meter. Express this distance in kilometer. Um.
You have to also do that thing in your copy, right? You have to calculate one thing. First, the value is actually given in the meter, right? The value is actually, it is given in the meter. Now find, you have to convert it into 1 kilometer, right? Now 1 kilometer equal to how many meter?
1000.
1000 meter. Then 1 meter equal to how many kilometer? 1/1000. 1
Yes.
divided by 1000. Just by using that thing, you calculate. Like 3250 meter, like here you place 3250, and find out the value.
Means I will divide it.
Yes, you have to divide 3250 by 1000. What will be it?
Yes, I got the answer.
That is what, 3.25, right?
Yes.
Now you understood why you have to divide it?
Yes.
Right? Because the one meter is actually the smaller unit, and you have to convert into a larger unit. To convert into a larger unit, you need to divide the value, right? And for that thing, you have to divide it with 1000, right? So let's look at the answer. Obviously, 3250 divided by 1000, 3.25 kilometer. You got that answer, right?
Yes.
Next question is that.
While measuring the length of a knitting needle, the
Yes.
reading of a scale at one end is 3.0 centimeter, and at the end the other end is 33.1 centimeter. What is the length of the needle?
You understood the question, right?
Yes.
You have a, say for example, you have a needle like that, and you have a scale like that, and you're placing like that. The starting point is at whatever is given, 3.3 centimeter or whatever, and the ending point is also given. So measure the actual length of the needle. What you have to do?
Um, I will divide it.
No, you will not divide it. How? Why should you divide it? Take a scale. You have a scale in front of you.
Yes.
Look at the scale. Now,
Yes.
say for example, put your pen on that thing. Pen on the point 2. You put the point one end at point 2.
2.
Yes. At 2 centimeter, you put the one end.
Yes.
Where is the other end?
17.5.
17.5. Then what is the actual length of the pen?
Minus I will.
Yes, 17.5 minus 2. That is the actual length, right?
Yes.
Same thing is also here.
Okay.
Instead of the pen, you have actually used the knitting glue here in this particular example. Now do that thing.
answer is 1.
How you got one?
Oh no, sorry. 30.1.
30.1 you should be getting. Let's look at the answer. Like 33.1 minus 3.0 centimeter equal 30.1 centimeter. You can actually get this kind of questions, like how you actually measuring, like the initial point and the end point will be given, you have to get the actual value, actual length of the screen, right? You can actually get this kind of question. Okay. Let's look at the next question. Okay. Read the question.
Write the similarities and differences between the motion of a bicycle and the ceiling fan that has been switched on. Both rotate in a similar direction, and the difference is that the bicycle is in one round, but the means fans those.
No, but we are actually talking about the whole bicycle. You're not talking about the bicycle wheel. Now, what is actually happening in case of the bicycle? The wheel of the bicycle is rotating. But
Yes.
that doesn't mean that the bicycle also rotating. It is not happening, right? The bicycle is actually moving in a straight line.
Yes.
Now, what is actually happening for the fan? The blade of the fan it is actually rotating like that.
Yes.
So that means what? One is a linear motion. Bicycle, the motion of the bicycle is a linear motion. But the fan, it is not a linear motion. It is a circular motion.
Yes.
So that is the actual difference between these two. The bicycle is in a linear motion, and the this thing, this is the circular motion.
Okay.
Right. Understood. I also give you the this questions also after completing this class. So the similarity is what? Both the wheel of a bicycle and the ceiling fan exhibits motion on a fixed axis. Fixed axis. You understand what is fixed axis?
Yes,
There is
means
a
in a fixed position.
Yeah, there's a point like that around which the wheel is also rotating because there is a center of the wheel, and also blades of the fans they have a center, right? There's a fixed center of both of this thing and they're actually rotating. That is the actual similarity between these two movements. Like the wheel of the bicycle and the fan, they are kind of similarly moving. But the actual bicycle, there is a difference in their motion. Like dissimilarity is what? The bicycle moves forward, thus executes a rectilinear motion. Rectilinear motion, you know, that's still actually a part of type of linear motion, right? And also the fan.
In our school, this chapter question answer has been given.
New question answer.
Yes.
Okay, we'll also look at those questions, right? Those questions are also similar like that, right?
Yes.
Similar like these questions, right? Okay, no problem. Then we will solve all of those questions. And okay, you understood these questions, right?
Yes.
Okay. So like look at the next question.
Why could you not use an elastic measuring tape to measure distance? What would be some of the problems you would meet in telling someone about the distance you measured with an elastic tape?
What should be your answer? Like you understood the question, elastic, you know, that can actually stretch,
Yes. The
right?
rubber.
The rubber. Now, if you make a measurement tape or a scale-like thing by that kind of rubber material that can actually straight. So, what should be the problem with that? That is the actual question. What should be your answer?
When we means measure it, sometimes it may stretch too long or sometimes it may stretch too short, and sometimes it may swing.
Yeah, that is why we will not get actual value for measurement. Right?
Yes.
The value of the scale will continuously be changing. Like elastic measurement tape gives incorrect length of the distance between 2 points because sometime you are measuring 2 millimeter. Now it is if you have stretched that thing, the 2 millimeter, that length that between those two lines, it got also stretched. right? So you will not get the actual value for the measurement, right? So it is also very easy question. The reason is also given, like the length of the elastic tape varies and depends upon the force by which it is stretched, like, and the measurement would be vary between 2 or 3 rings even when measured by the same person and by the same elastic tape, tape, right? The thing that we already discussed, like if you stretch that thing, it will change the value of that two points. It will be changed, so you will not get the accurate value for measurement. Every time you measure, you will be getting different kind of values. Okay, next question, and also another thing is given, measurement would also vary if different person measure the same distance. It also be happening. Okay, next question.
Give two example of periodic motion.
We already discussed in the beginning of the class, like this
A
thing.
fan,
No, no, no.
a swing, a
Uh,
swing,
and
mm, um,
and the clock thing.
a
What is?
pendulum clock.
Yes, very good, very good. Let's look at the answer. Oscillation of a pendulum. That means that pendulum thing that is attached to the clock, and also motion of swing, motion of earth around the sun. That is also another type of motion, right? Okay. Next question. Also,
Are,
yes.
are senses reliable for accurate measurement?
Senses means if you are looking at something and guessing something, you are guessing that it is a very large table, it is a very small table, small book, medium book. Are these measurements accurate?
No.
Very good. Because you are not expressing that measurement into some units. Like that expression is not actually very good, right? So let's look at the answer. What should be the answer? Like our senses are not reliable for accurate measurement. We also know that thing because our senses can differ between different persons. Your measurement of something can actually vary from my measurement of something. Okay, let's look at the next question.
Why can handspan and arm length not be used as standard units of length?
Exact question that also we discussed during the discussion of the footstep thing, right?
Yes.
Like your arm length can be of different length of my arm length. So if we measure the same thing by our arm length, we will not actually come into same kind of conclusion, right? The conclusion should vary. So that means what? It's not a standard unit. So let's look at the answer also because this vary from person to person. Oh, next question. You all know that thing. Read the question.
How many centimeters are there in 1 meter?
How many?
1 meter is equal to 10 centimeter.
How many steps are there in between meter and centimeter?
Means I did not understand.
How many steps are in between meter and centimeter? Meter then comes what?
Meter then centimeter. No, meter then hectometer.
No, kilometer and
Hectometer.
meter then decimeter.
Decimeter then centimeter.
How many steps are there?
2. So
Two steps.
100.
Yes, 2 steps means 1 and 2 zeros. Now what? Okay, let's start with kilometer. Then what is there?
Kilometer, hectometer, decameter, meter, decimeter, centimeter, and millimeter.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Okay. Next question. Okay.
Name the measuring device which can be used for measuring the grit
Girth.
of a tree.
Girth means the total, this thing, the periphery.
Oh.
What you should be measuring?
A rope.
Yes, you can measure it by a rope. You can actually tie a rope around the girth of the tree and then stretch it and measure it on a this thing, the scale, right? And also, you know what? There are formula by which you can actually measure by a scale also.
Yes, I know.
How?
We will multiply the breadth and the width.
No, there, if it is a tree, you are not having a breadth and it is a circle, right?
Yes.
You don't have length and breadth, but you have what? You have the radius of the circle.
Yes.
Now from the radius, you can actually get the perimeter.
Yes.
By that also you can actually measure. But for that thing, you need to cut the tree. And you are now measuring that by row by not cutting the tree. That is the difference between the two mode of measurement. The measuring tape is obviously the answer. Like by tape also, if a measuring tape is there, the tape can be folded, right? And that is the difference between the scale and the measuring tape. So by that thing, you can also measure that thing.
Okay.
Okay. The next question is give an example of linear motion.
The wheels.
Uh, when the wheel is actually moving and by motion of a bicycle, you can also say.
Okay.
The linear motion means if something is moving in a line. Now the wheels itself, it is moving in a circle around itself. But if it is attached to a car or bicycle, then it is moving that thing in a line. So that's it. That thing is there. Like motion of a stone falling from certain height, it is also a linear motion. If you take a stone like from here and you open your arm, and it will fall, right? It will fall in a straight line. Right? It is also linear motion. Let's talk about the next question. Okay. Give you an example of a circular motion.
Give an example of circular motion. The earth rotating on its axis.
Can be okay. It can also be a circular motion, but the good example is the fan, the blade of the fan. It is circling around a particular axis, and also the hands of the clocks.
Yes.
They also have a center, and around them it is actually moving. Right? You understand it? Okay. Let's look at what is given as answer. Okay. Motion of the arms of the watch. Okay. That is a very good example because we can actually all observe it moving. So next question. Okay.
Name the device used to measure the following: size of your shoulder, measurement tape,
Okay.
size of your wrist is also measurement tape, your height, the scales that we have on walls,
Yes, you can do that thing. And
your weight, the weighing machine,
drawing machine, drawing scale,
cloth of curtain, measurement tape,
measurement we
and
can do.
circumference of round table.
Circumference means the whole periphery thing.
Round table. Rope.
Rope we can do, and also by scale by using that formula from radius to that thing you can also do. Right. So look at the answer what is given. Okay. Measuring tape, measuring tape, and weighing balance you told for the weight of your body. Measuring tape also, measuring tape. Okay. Correct. Every answer is correct. Okay. Next question.
State two precalculars to be observed while measuring length with the help of a
State
meter scale.
State two precautions to be observed while measuring length with the help of meter scale. Like what precautions or what steps you will be following to take a correct measurement while you are using a scale.
We have to make a precise location, then measure.
You have to observe from the very top, like from the 90 perpendicularly you have to observe,
Yes.
and always put one end in the perfect line or perfect point. So if it is the 0 point, it is obviously better. Right? Then you don't have to don't have to do minus from anything. Right?
Yes.
That's how we actually use the scale. Now, if that is a scale, if you are not observing perpendicularly, you are observing like that or like that, you will get wrong result. So that is actually
Yes.
the precautions. Let's look at the answers. The two precautions are the initial point of distance must be coincide with the zero reading of the meter scale. Like from the zero, we'll be starting the measuring that we already discussed. And if it is not zero, it can be one or two or any point in that matter. Then you have to minus that thing, right? We already done that kind of math. And also what? The eye should be kept in line with the point of measurement. Like perpendicularly, you have to take the measurement. If you don't take the measurement perpendicularly, you will get the wrong result. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Next question.
Define rest and motion. Rest means not doing anything, and motion means rotating.
Not rotating, it can be also linear motion, like anything is moving in a line. Rest means if it is not moving.
Yes.
And there is an observation you can also do, and you will be reading that thing in your physics also. In I think you already did that thing. If something is in rest, if you don't push it, it will not come to motion, right?
Four.
Yes, yes, very good, very good. And that is a law of physics, right? If it is in motion, if nothing is stopping it, you will continue to move, right?
Yes.
It will not come into rest. So that's actually a law of observable physics. Okay, so the objects which do not change the position with time are said to be at rest. The objects which change the position with time, they are said to be motion. Like we're actually measuring the actual state in terms of the time. With time if they are moving, or with time if they are not moving. That is the actual difference between these two. Right? Okay. The next question. Okay. Define the
Define
terms.
the standard unit. Mm, Standard unit means one.
Standard unit means maybe one or multiplication of one. Like we're talking about meter, it is the meter that we're take as one now. The centimeter is 100 times smaller than the meter. One kilometer is 1,000. So that thing is actually the standard unit. But because there is a definition, you have to memorize the definition. Like the unit that could be used everywhere as a basic unit of measurement is called the standard unit. You better write that sentence, because it's a definition that you need to memorize. Write that thing.
Done. I cannot hear you.
Um, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So the next question is this one. Let's look at that.
How can a measured length be expressed?
How can a measured length be expressed? Like what unit you should be using, or what standard unit you should be using? What should be the answer?
By a unit.
By a unit, and what unit you should be using for the measurement of a length?
I will say the unit.
Yes, say the unit that will be using for the length.
Meter.
Meter. And if you are measuring the weight, what unit you should be using?
Wait, I will use also meter.
Your weight is some meter. How much is your weight?
Oh, the for that gram.
Gram or kilogram? Or for a liquid thing, what unit you should be using?
Liter.
Liter or milliliter. Right. Or for time, what unit you should be using?
Time.
Yes.
AM and PM.
No, how we measure time? Like what unit do we use? Now, say for example,
Clock.
how long you are doing this class? What unit you should be saying? Like
Um, yes.
hours, minutes, and seconds. So the second is the actual smallest unit for the time. So the
Is
answer
there
is
anything smaller than second?
which one?
Is anything smaller than second?
Obviously, there are smaller units than second. Like meter is the standard unit. Then you also have decimeters, centimeters, and so on. Like for seconds, also you're also having picoseconds, microsecond, nanoseconds, femtoseconds, and smaller units like that. In some cases, in some physical experiments and some also some computer sciences, you also need very small thing to measure, like very small amount of time you need to measure. You need to slow down everything to measure that thing to happen. For that thing, those kind of small units we actually use, like nanoseconds, femtoseconds, and all those. Right. There are smallest units for everything, right? The length also, we close that thing is what at you know the smallest unit of length you know that is millimeter, right?
Yes.
But there are picometers and femtometers and units like that also, right? They are smaller than millimeters, even smaller than that. That measurement cannot be actually done by your naked eyes. You need to use some separate instruments for that thing. Okay. So the answer for that particular question is what? A number describing a numerical value. Like, say for example, your measurement is like 5 meter. There is a 5 that is the numerical value, the number value for the particular measurement, and the unit in which the quantity is measured, like meter or kilometer, whatsoever, right? So there is a numerical value and then the unit. So that is how we actually measure everything, right? So that should be the answer. Okay. Now the next question.
Give an example of the following types of motion. Linear will be the fan.
No, linear is always like that. Fan is moving like this.
A rock falling from
Yes, yes,
the
yes. Very good, very good.
translation. Translation means
Translation will become. Next one, answer.
circular wheel clock.
Will, clock, or fan. Next,
Periodic means
this one. It is taking a particular time.
a pendulum clock.
Okay, pendulum clock or swing. Let's look at the answer. Uh, Translatory is given like buses. Like it is actually taking something and from A to B, it is going. Like
Like a vehicle.
like a vehicle, like it is actually going only a single. The bus will not go up,
Okay.
right? The bus will only go in that particular direction. So that's why we're calling it translation. Translation means from X to Y. Okay, the next question. Okay, so almost all of the questions we have already done. So
Yes.
also we have some other questions that we can actually look. Just wait for a minute. I already had some questions. Okay, that shorting measurement thing that you understand, right?
Yes.
I guess there is no other problem in this chapter. And so, what questions your school has given you?
The physics chapter.
That shorting and measurement thing, right? That chapter.
Yes.
Can you send me some questions?
Yes, I can send.
Okay, that's take 1-2 minutes. Send those.
hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
I
Okay.
have sent.
Okay, okay, I got the question. So there is one question, it is what? Uh, the different matrix system are taking different, that is the answer. Okay. How to measure a curved line? You know that, right? Actually, it
Yes,
is very easy. The curved line, we actually cannot use the scale directly for that thing. What we should be taking, we should be taking a rope and we should be placing the rope just on top of the curved line and we stretch the rope and take a scale or measuring depth and measure the length of the actual rope and that's how we'll be getting the length of the curved line. That is actually easy,
yes.
right? This is and also what this question. Let's look at this also. What do you mean by the term measurement? You have read that
Mm,
thing?
yes,
Okay. These questions that are already given by your school, you need to memorize those things because there are some definitions, right? That measurement thing, it is actually the definition. You have to remember that thing. The measurement is a process of comparing objects with a standard unit of measurement. Right? Like comparing objects mean you are actually taking something and measuring the value of that thing and you are comparing with standard unit. You understood that 1 meter, 1 millimeter, 1 centimeter. These are the standard unit. Why it is standard? Because everybody can actually agree upon that. Because 1 centimeter of your scale is actually 1 centimeter of my scale as well. That is why 1 centimeter of everyone's scales are actually similar. And that is why our object, if you measure that, it will be 5 centimeter in length. It should be 5 centimeter in length for me also, for you also, or for anybody in the anywhere that is actually living. Okay. So that is why actually the measurement thing works, right? And also the next question is what is the need of standard unit of measurement? That is what is the answer? Read.
foot, pace, and yard are some of other units of length based on body parts. However, these units are not reliable as the length of body part varies from person to person. Therefore, people realize the need for standard units of measurement.
Yes. That means what those units that we're actually talking about, the foot length or the arm length or the this length, they are actually called the relative unit. We're actually comparing something with some part of your body. Now, body part for each and everybody should be of different length, and we shouldn't be actually coming to a conclusion. Like everyone's length, everyone measurement should be different from each other. Like that should be a problematic thing. Okay. And what another question is given that write the short note on standard unit. Read that question also, read the answer also.
A unit of measurement which has a fixed value does not change from person to person or place to place is called standard unit of measurement.
That we already understood, right? Why we need to use that kind of unit and what the meaning of this kind of unit. Right. So I think almost everything, every aspect of this chapter is already completed, right? We don't need to look into this chapter. We should be doing other stuffs like let's talk about the next chapter, next other chapters we had. Uh, let's
Will
open
you
some.
underline the
Yes, yes,
means
yes,
chapter?
yes, yes. I will give you some underline for the chapter from the biology. Okay, the
Okay.
biology chapter. Okay, because I already have that thing in my WhatsApp. Next, you will be doing before the next class on Friday, I guess. You will be sending those that chapter, that measurement thing from your book. Then I can give you the highlights. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now open your book, page number 84.
84.
You have already underlined it.
Um. Yes, I've opened.
That is already underlined, right? The that movement, response, stimuli, that thing, unicellular
Yes.
organism thing, multicellular organism. Okay, next page. Up to excretion, I think you have underlined, right? Growth and
Yes.
development you have underlined.
Growth and development, yes.
You have underlined.
Up to respiration, we have underlined.
After respiration, you have underlined. In respiration, wait, reproduction, you underline that sentence like
Wait,
living.
wait.
Mhm.
Yes, you can say.
Okay, living things have the ability to reproduce. That you underline. What is the definition of reproduction? Okay, and also this line. Also, this line mean copy the image here first. Also, underline here. Animals reproduce by laying eggs and giving birth to young ones. That you also underline. That I have underlined.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know there is a term for that thing? Giving birth to some young ones and laying eggs. Do you know the terms?
No.
The term is actually oviparous and viviparous. Okay, you don't need to remember
What?
that. Oviparous and viviparous.
Okay, oviparous and viviparous.
Oviparous and viviparous. VIVI. V for victory. Okay, ovi and vivi. I don't need to remember that thing. I just gave you the. Uh, okay. Now the nutrition. Okay. Let me go through the sentence. Okay. You can see where I am underlying.
Yes.
Okay. That you underline. You underline. And in the lifespan and death, that I have underlined, you also underline. Like from that, you can get a question like, what do you mean by lifespan? That
Okay.
should be the answer. Why? Where we have underlined. Okay. Let me take the next page. There is the next page. The word. There are some. Okay, that this thing is very actually important. That living thing and non-living things difference. Actually,
Okay.
very important. Now there is a definition of environment. You do I underline through it. And here also. Like you can get a question like what are the different components of the environment. So the underlying thing that is the living, the biotic and the abiotic thing that bottom portion that I have underlined, that is the answer for that question. This question are actually very easy questions. Like from this chapter, we'll be getting a very kind of stuff. What do you mean by environment? What are the different components of the environment and questions like that. Let's take the next page. First, let me remove it. This one, biotic component and abiotic component. Okay. Here you underline like what do you mean by the word biotic? What do you mean by the word abiotic? Okay, here. And also scavengers and decomposers, they are also biotic. You also have to remember those. Like previously we have discussed, right? The difference between the scavengers and the decomposers. You remember those?
Yes.
Like crow, that thing is a scavenger, right? Vulture, that thing is a scavenger because they eat the dead animals. And the decomposers are all those bacteria and the fungi that actually break those down. So that is that. Okay, now that is also very important. That chlorophyll, what actually helps the plants to make their own food and what they use for making the food, like light and the water and the carbon dioxide, and the process is photosynthesis. Like here, this whole paragraph, the process by which till the synthesis, right? This thing that I am currently doing. Okay. Screen where I'm marking. It is a definition for the photosynthesis. You need to remember that. Okay. Next, what do we have? Okay, animals. Okay. Why they are called heterotrophs? That is also an important thing. Uh, okay. That paragraph. What do you mean by scavengers and what do you mean by decomposer? Okay. That you actually underline the whole thing. The whole paragraph is actually very important for the questions. Like you can get a huge lot of questions like what do you mean by scavengers and what do you mean by decomposers, and also give some examples of scavengers, give some examples of the decomposers, things like that.
Okay.
You have underlined this page.
Yes.
Moving then. Let's grab the next page. What we have. Mm, introduction. That thing is important. Okay. This two things that you have already underlined. That is very important. Okay, now these are very important things. Which one is called the consumers? Which one called the secondary consumers, which are producers, and how they are linked, and how the scavengers and the decomposers play their role. That portion, like the plants, that they are what? They are the producers because they are the actual organism that actually produces the food from the light and the carbon dioxide and the water. And the herbivores, you remember like what are the herbivores?
Yes. The animals who only eat the plants.
Very good. That means the primary consumers. Then
Like
comes
cows.
yes. Then comes the secondary consumers. That actually thrives on the primary consumer. That eats the primary consumer. Right. And after that, when all of them are dead,
The herbivores are also the predators. Prey.
carnivores are predator. Ah, yes, yes. Herbivores, they are the prey. Like if it is deer, it is a prey for the tiger or the lion. The carnivore, it will actually eat that thing. And after all of them are dead, the decomposers, not the decomposers, scavengers will eat them, their dead parts, and the decomposers, they will degrade their body parts. So that the organic materials, they can be again used by the plants itself. That's a cycle. That is the cycle of the environment. For that cycle only, everything is actually in proper balance. If any one of that cycle is on, the whole system will actually crash. Okay, let's look at the next page.
I will not underline the blooded animals and cold blooded, all those.
Yes. That you, I forgot that. Okay. Next page I'm underlining. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, cold-blooded are here only. Cold-blooded animals and warm-blooded animals. And also their examples you need to remember what are the examples of some of them. We have what? We have cold-blooded or warm-blooded?
Yes.
We have cold-blooded or
Cold
warm-blooded?
blooded animals can change their body temperature, like snakes, and warm blooded animals cannot change their means
The exact opposite.
temperature.
Opposite.
Yes.
Cold-blooded, they can actually change. They cannot change their body temperature. They
Okay.
rely on the environmental temperature. So for that purpose, they need to do their winter sleep. Like throughout the whole winter they sleep because they cannot actually come out because they don't have proper energy. They don't have proper amount of heat for their body to work.
Then why cannot we humans change our body temperature?
We change our body. Warm blooded animals, we actually change our body temperature. The cold-blooded animals, they cannot do that. We can do that. The process by which we actually change our body temperature, we call it homeostasis. We have some internal chemical reactions that keeps us warm, and we have mechanisms like sweating and so on that actually helps us to cool down. Have you ever seen a bird is sweating?
No.
Because they have feathers to control their body temperature. A snake do the sweat.
No.
For that purpose only they cannot actually control their body heat. And we also have other things like our claws. They are also very helpful thing for maintaining our body temperature. And also primitive animals like gorilla and chimpanzees, they have farts on them, thick farts. They help them to control their body temperature. But the snakes and the frogs or the toads or the amphibians and the reptiles, they actually don't have those kind of things, right? So that is the reason behind that they actually cannot actually change their body temperature. The warm cold-blooded cannot change. Okay. We're moving this page then. Next page we'll look.
Here in the book it is written birds are warm-blooded, but they how are they warm-blooded?
Birds are warm-blooded. Bird can change their body temperature because they are feather. In very summer they actually make their very winter they do what? They make their feather fluffy. By that they actually protecting themselves. Just how we actually use a sweater.
Like a peacock.
Not a peacock. That thing is for attracting the mates. Now, any other birds they actually make the feathers fluffy. Like they put some air in the gaps of the feathers and they insulate the body. Now, next page. Look at that thing. You also have a bird, right?
Yes.
I have heard the story about it. Let's look at this. The role of carbon dioxide, you need to align that. This line is very important, like how plant absorb water and why it is needed. Our body is mostly water. That thing also needed, like blood. Blood is a liquid thing. The main solvent of the blood, it is actually liquid. The water, that means also in our body, 70%, more than 70% at least, it is actually water. Like water is actually very crucial for our body. That is also very important. Soil. Okay, that's topsoil, subsoil, parent material, bedrock. That we have already gone through that thing by some images, right? Previously, remember the images?
Yes.
Okay, so that thing you underline. That thing you remember the different layers and how also like different minerals, how they contribute in the soil. Okay.
The parent material from which the name has been given.
The parent means what? The parent creates the thing. Now the parent materials means they are actually the charred or broken down the rocks, right? That is actually getting mixed with the biotic things or the humus or a biotic compound. Now that they are actually creating the soil, right? Now the soil is actually a thing that is actually created over time. Now let me give you an example. Say for example, there was a mountain, very dense mountain, very not very dense, like there's a very solid mountain, and some portion of the mountain is broken down. It always happens like the landslide thing. Now what happened? Now one portion of the mountain is now exposed. It is nothing but the rocks. Now
Yes.
if you look at that thing for thousands of years, you'll be seeing that uh, day by day, throughout the time, this new soil is being created. When the first landslide happened, there is no more plants on that particular rock because the plants cannot actually grow on the rocks that need soil for the anchorage by their roots. So day by day, there should be some kind of lichens. Those are specific kind of organisms that can actually grow on the, rock. They are, fungus-like organisms. In mountain walls, you can actually see them, right? They will create some acids that will microscopically melt those soils, melt those rocks. It will be churned, and then there are also weathering effect. Like day by day, the rains will make the rocks, broken down, brittle. That thing that air pressure and all those things will make day by day the rock, very small particles of rock will come up, right? And the lichen that just born, it will also die and mix its organic material, right? And also what will be happening, other organisms like very small animals like the snails and those kind of things, they will come, they will die, and day by day, by mixing with those soil particles and parent materials, by biotic materials that coming from the dead animals and the plants, soils will form. It will take thousands of years, but ultimately soils will form, and again, at that exposed end of the mountain, new large trees can actually grow. Right? That is how soils are actually created.
Can a human create soil?
The human actually cannot create soil, because why? How long we will be surviving? We will survive in at most 80, 90 years. After that, we will be dying. But the process the soil is actually created, it takes thousands of years. It will take a very long time. So by our own eyes, we actually cannot see that thing, because see that kind of things like breaking down of the rocks by those acids produced by those lichens and organisms like that, and also weathering effects like breaking down of the soils by those rains and airs. This will take a huge lot of time. By human actually cannot do that thing by their own. Right? For that thing, the nature is much more powerful than us. Right? The nature will do that thing by themselves. So, is there any more page? Okay. So, in that chapter, you already had only those 3-4 pages. Now, let's. I have already 2-3 more questions that we will be discussing today. Let's see. Can you see the questions?
Yes. I will send the homework in WhatsApp.
You can send the homework in WhatsApp. Now, these are very simple some questions. Let's discuss that thing right now. Okay. So can you read the first question?
Give 4 examples of territorial habit.
Territorial habitat means
Which are local things.
not local things. Territorial means that is actually land.
Okay.
Tell me those 3-4 things. Examples.
Soil.
Like no. Like territorial habitat. Habitat means assemblage of some organisms.
Means living organism.
Living organisms. Like
Dog.
like habitat means not like that. Like forest, it can be called as a habitat or something like that. Okay.
A dog. A human. Then
Can be like that. Next question.
what are the various components of habitat? Means through which we survive.
Let me read the question. What are the various components of a habitat? Like what we need for a habitat. Habitat means, for habitat you understood, like the assemblage of multiple organisms, multiple biotic and abiotic things by
Okay.
which we are actually living. Right? That is a habitat. Like a forest is a habitat. Right? A mountain. There are also different animals and the plants. That is a habitat. Right? And also the sea. It is a habitat. Right? So these all things are actually habitat, but there are different kinds of animals, kinds of plants. They're living in their close proximity, right? Depending on each other. These are the different habitats. So what should be the different composition? What should be the different things that you need in a habitat?
Water.
What do you need? Mainly biotic and abiotic things. In the abiotic things, you will be needing plants and animals. In the abiotic things, the soils and the water and the air, right?
Air we also need
Air
carbon
you also need,
dioxide and
obviously,
oxygen,
obviously, air you also need.
and plants,
Plants,
forest.
forest. Actually, plants makes the forest. Okay, read the next question. Write the names of animals, plants, and other objects found in different surroundings. Like you have a chart in forest, what animals you'll be seeing. In mountains, what thing will be seeing. You give me some example.
In forest we can see lions, tigers,
Mm.
monkeys, and on mountains we can see
Mountains, what kind of animals you'll be seeing in the mountain?
monkeys, monkey,
Monkeys you can see.
elephant.
Elephant in the mountain, yes, you can see. Some in some mountains there are elephants. Red panda you can see. And
and,
also there are other things. Like in
and
desert, what you'll be seeing?
desert, camel,
Camel and also
snake,
snake and also some lizard.
okay, and in sea,
In
a
sea, what you'll be
whale,
seeing?
shark, fish.
Yes. All of this thing you can see. Okay, let's
Is a frog a land animal or a means water animal?
see the frogs. That is a very interesting question you have asked. They are the amphibians, right? Now,
Yes.
the amphibians are what? Amphibians are those organisms that have to, it's one part of its life is actually depending on the water, right? How the frog begins their life? They begins their life from egg, right? Then the egg hatches to create the tadpoles, right? You know, tadpoles, they have scales and also gills like such, and that phase of that frog, that phase of the toad also, they actually dependent on the water. Without the water, they cannot actually live, right? And now this when it matures to become the frog, now there are some frogs that can actually stay on the land. They don't need water at that level, right? But there are some frogs like some frogs that are in Amazon River, right? I know Amazon forest. Their skin need to be remain moist for throughout the day, and for that purpose they rely on the water. They are land animals, but they actually rely on the water for their survival. So that actually they are actually land animals, but that depends on the water. So the next question is what? Classify the following biotic and abiotic component. Name those organisms and tell me which one is biotic and which one is abiotic.
What will I say?
Huh?
What will I say?
You will be saying, take for example, name the organism. The first organism is given bacteria. It is biotic or abiotic?
Biotic.
Okay, next one.
Humidity, abiotic. Light, abiotic.
Okay.
Precipitation means
Which one?
precipitation.
Precipitation means that raining and snowing, those kind of things. That is biotic or abiotic?
Abiotic.
Obviously abiotic.
Soil is, but from the soil only plants grows.
But the soil itself is abiotic. The plant is living, but the soil is not living. The plant, it absorbs all the non-living things from the soil and creates new component, new food that every other animals can actually rely on. But the soil, it is not. But there are microorganisms that they live on the soil. They are actually living. But the soil itself.
How did humans first discover the first seed? Because if there was no seed, how will be their plants?
See, every plants do not need seed for their propagation. There are some plants that they do not need seed. They use actually some very small grains of spores. Like if you look at the plant world, there are multiple groups of plant. You will be studying that thing in like class 8, 9. Like there are a group called halophytes, called the algae, the green thing that are occurs in the moist thing, and there are mosses like bryophytes, and there are ferns, the pteridophytes, and there are pine-like trees like gymnosperms, and now the flowering plant, the angiosperm. The very primitive groups of the plants, they don't actually use fruits and seeds and the flowers, all of those things. They can be actually vegetatively propagate. That means if you cut open or fragment its body, one piece will again generate a new plant. Like that, they produce. Right. So that is a very unique thing among the plants. Okay. Now the next thing is the leaves of pines, needles, pines and needle like.
This the leaves of pine trees are needle-like because they are in mountains. So when it snows, the needles can means dust the snow off themselves.
Very good. Very good. Very good. That is actually the reason. Okay. That is good. That's what we call adaptation. What is the respiratory organ in fish, earthworm, and frog and insects? You know.
Means I will say like humans are lungs like that
Yes.
only.
Yes.
But what will I do in frog? They are not land or not water animals.
But they have actually the lungs, and also they can breathe by their skin. And the frog, they actually move their this portion, their glottis, their what we call the throat. You have seen the frog doing that thing in the throat. By that thing,
Yes.
they can also breathe. Lungs, you will say for now.
And
So
fish it will be gills.
gills, earthworm,
Earthworm lungs.
they use their skin.
Ah. And fish, frog they use their
Yes,
skin
the
and
lung you can say. Yes, the lung and skin you can say, mainly the lungs. And what
insect.
else here? Insects. They have something called the book gills.
Yeah.
Not that,
And
not that. They have a special respiratory organ called the book gills. Book, book, book gills. Okay, that's a kind of gills but separate. Okay. Now, this question mentioned two stimuli that plant responds to. We already discussing like
yes.
to which kind of stimuli the plant responds.
The stimulus
Like
means
the light and the gravity and all those kind
touch.
of things. And
Touch.
also that if it is a touch me not plant, in that case, it will be responding to the touch also. Right. So, okay, so the questions like that can actually come. Which of the things are the following are non-living? You can also do that. Skipping. Take the animals which can live in the water as well as the land.
Frog.
Mhm.
Crocodile.
Mhm.
What is the meaning of human fish?
I also don't know what is human fish. Let me check that. Human fish, I don't know what is.
Like
Oh,
a
human.
mermaid.
No. Mermaid is not real. It is something called whale. Oh, it is a fish that has a human-like mouth. Let me show you an image of that. It's actually very scary. Right. Let me show you the image of that. There you go. It is a human fish. It has a mouth and teeth like human, right?
Yes.
But it is actually a fish.
Ah, it
Never
has
mind.
a eye in the middle.
It has a
Eye in the middle.
no, not like eye in the middle. That is actually, I think that is the eye on the top of its body. I think uh, this only is the eye. This is the eye. That mouse is actually very scary. Right? That's why it's called a human fish. Okay. So let's look at the next question. What is that? Okay, that is done. Right, true, false. Animals grow throughout their life. It is true, right?
Yes.
And all living being responds to stimuli. That is also true. Okay. And that definition thing, okay, will be I will give you the questions. You will solve that thing as a homework, right? So in the next class, two chapters I think we have done very well, right? This biology chapter, that is the uh, that what is the name of your chapter? I forgot that organism, the environment, and all of those things.
This one is called Things Around Us.
Things around us. I think it is already well done, right? No more
Yes.
problem is supposed to be there. That thing is done, and also that physics chapter we already did that thing today.
And the ducks means a water thing or a land thing. Duck.
Ducks, they are land thing, but they actually prey in the water. What they eat, they actually eat the small fish and small other animals that live in the pond. Right. For that purpose, they have to go for the swim. But they actually live in the land. They live in the land, and do you know they have some special chemicals that actually they secrete from their tails. They have a special gland-like structure, like from which actually kind of sweat we prepare. They actually prepare some waxy substance, substance that similar to wax.
Yes. A transparent membrane that covers their eyes, which
No,
helps
that
them.
thing is that is on their eye, so that they can actually see under the water. But also they cover the whole body of them. They actually, have you ever seen a duck? You will be finding they're actually poking their tail, that region, with their beaks and placing something on their body. They actually covers their whole body with that wax substance that makes their body waterproof.
But how do they make the wax?
They have a gland, they have a specific gland, like how we are making sweat, right? If you put your sweat, it is also very waxy. There is a adhesive thing, so that kind of thing they produce, right? And that makes the body, and when the ducks come out from the water, you will be finding that they are not actually wet. Their body remain dry for the entire that swimming. That is also very unique thing for the duck. They're actually land thing. They all of their life actually they spend in the land. They lay their egg on the land and they eat in the land, and all of those things they actually do in the land. Right. Okay. What else? What other chapter you had?
And I have one more chapter. Um, um,
what another chapter you had? I forgot.
we have covered the whole syllabus.
But another chapter that is still not covered well. That is what? Uh, okay, no. But PM1 is the next section that is happening, right?
Yes.
That is on the July,
Yes.
and PA2 will be
Year to October.
okay. We'll be getting enough time for that. Okay, measurement and motion is done. Okay, things around us is actually that biology thing, and
Yes.
measurement and motion is that chapter that we have done today, and
Yes.
also sorting materials into groups. That chapter is remaining. Okay. In the next class, I will try to arrange some questions from those things, and just wait. I will be sending three, four. Okay. Just wait. Let me send you 2, 3 questions that I have collected for you from all these chapters.
I will do them as homework.
If you get time, you can obviously do that thing in the homework, right? If you at least the sorting thing and the living thing you will do and you will send, because that chapter is ultimately completed. And if you will notify me if you if your school starts a PA2 syllabus, right?
Okay.
I think they will not start it right now, right?
Yes.
Okay, and I will also send the questions that today we discussed throughout that session, right? That questions you can also, if you get time, you can write that thing in your copy. If you don't get time, just go through them once again. You will remember what we have discussed, right? So, if you have any more doubt, you can ask me from any chapter, anything else, anything that comes to your mind, you can ask me.
No, I don't have doubt.
If you have any other doubt at any point of time, you can obviously ask me, right? If you have any question, that question may be, not so good. You can think about that, but you can also ask me. Don't fear to ask me any question. So we should end the class today. Okay. And remember the homeworks like those already I have sent to the WhatsApp, and also after the class I will be giving the questions today we have discussed by PDF, and read those 2-3 chapters that already done, and also the exercises. Right? The exercises that in your book, that biology chapter exercise we have already done in the previous class, right? In the book,
Yes.
from the book, right? Now, you have to write those things in the copies and the books so that you can remember all those things during your examination. So
I will write
that
the questions
no,
also.
no, no, not the questions. Like for yourself only, for not for myself. Like uh, before the exam, what you will be doing, you will be go through the chapters, go through the questions, and you will be getting common questions from that. For that purpose, however you have to write, however you have to make that thing prepared, you do that. That's up to you. That's up to you. Okay. Okay. So bye.